Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Yes, I'm in the wrong seat, and regrets from the mayor, Patricia Farmer, and Councilwoman Julia Perry that they could not make it here. So you have us for tonight. Cream the crop, yeah, okay. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Lawrence Township Council being held on Tuesday, August 20th, 2024 has been provided through the posting of the annual meeting schedule of said council in accordance with Section 13 of the Open Public Meeting Act. Said notice was forwarded to the Trentonian and Times in the printed packet on December 11th, 2023. Madam Clerk, may we have the inspiration pledge of allegiance and roll call? Thank you.
May we carry out our work at this meeting in a just, honorable, and sincere manner, always bearing in mind our duties and continuing to keep Lawrence a wonderful community in which to live. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Bobbitt.
Here.
Mr. Kanaki.
Here.
As Councilman Ryan said, Ms. Perry and Mayor Farmer cannot be with us this evening, and Mayor Ryan. I mean,
Oh,
Mr. Ryan. Mr. Ryan.
Congratulations.
No. Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Ryan.
Thank you. Present. We have special proclamations, recognitions, presentations, none. Public participation, we have at this time 5 minutes, please. Is there anyone? Please come up, write your name down on the pad and state it for the record. Your address on there, please.
Write the address.
Yep. Yeah, your name and address, and just state your name, please. You look very familiar. Are you from the area?
3 forms of ID.
That's your 5 points.
Okay, thanks. Council manager and other council, no, council manager, this council, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we got you.
Council spelled differently. Council manager and of council.
Please state your name, please.
Jim Hooker.
Thank you.
And I happen to serve on, well, I'm not here for these groups, but I'd like to say who I serve on so that I could also let you know that I'm not speaking for them in case it were to be construed in such a way. I'm a board member and founder of the Friends of Colonial Lake nonprofit, Friends of Colonial Lake Park, and I'm a member of the Lawrence Township Stewardship, Open Space, and Trails Committee. But I'm not speaking for either one of those. But it is a situation that happened today of great immediacy. And I'm sure I know that some of those folks who I serve with would be as upset as I was, because that's where their hearts are. Open space, trees, nature. And what happened was I had a call. I was at work. Fortunately, I work in Trenton, not far from where we live. And I got calls from several neighbors, actually, that this new chiropractor office, right as you enter Colonial Lake Park and the neighborhood, he's made extensive renovations to this little building. It's been a bunch of things over the years. And the word was they're cutting down the sycamore, giant sycamore, out on Route 1 in front of their building, low slump ranch style. A lot of money went into it to fix it up. And I'll get to it in a moment. I know we only have 3 minutes, but you know, as part of that, he wants to protect his investment, I suppose, and cut this thing down so that it's not falling onto his property, onto his building, this building he just fixed up. So there's a question and there's a couple of statements. For one thing, the tree that he said was problematic was actually a tree farther south, the next sycamore, that does have some difficulty in it. But he had a tree service, Vasquez Tree Service, butchering the tree at the corner of Route 1 and where you egress and ingress to the neighborhood where that jug handle is. And so I called the police. It's a living thing. These things are living things. Call me a tree hugger, call me what you want. They can't speak, right? They can't do anything for us in terms of that. They can't reach out to us for help. I called the police, and thank goodness, our wonderful Lawrence Township Police Force responded. A great officer by the name of Officer Campbell, I read it on his badge, and Campbell, he put up with me, didn't put me in cuffs as he potentially could have, with my volcanic reaction to this situation as I pulled into the parking lot. And I said, this can't happen. You can't be taking this tree down. You need a permit in this town to take down a beautiful tree like this. It's got to be 2 feet around. It's got to be 50, 70 feet high. I don't know. You need a permit. You can't just do this. And I used some language. The chiropractor was there with the officer who got him to stop for the moment. And then he said, we called town hall. And this goes to one of my questions. He said 2 different people. He had no names. Although, well, I'm not going to even say what potential, unless you want it, department he said he called, because I don't know whether he really called or not, or who he spoke to. But he says, oh, they said, if it's over your building or you don't want it, you can cut it down. Whatever you want. He said, can I have the township come out here and take care of this? No, township doesn't do that. But you can do it, and if it's over your building, just go ahead and do it. Well, fine. Well, for starters, they didn't start over his building. They started over the sidewalk. And then they were going to town like they were going to take this whole thing down. Except I showed up, and Mr. Politti, former mayor and councilman, Greg Politti, showed up. I hope he doesn't mind my throwing his name out there. Tom Ritter showed up, who happens to be the president of Friends of Colonial Lake Park. A bunch of us showed up and said, this is ridiculous. Okay, I'll wrap up quickly, but we need a good tree policy in town to protect these gorgeous trees. I'm not sure, I once heard, and I'm almost hesitant to put this out there, that the policy is something like, well, whoever lives there, and if the tree bothers them, they can have it taken down. Or we'll come and take it down, the township. I've heard that. I hope it's a wives' tale. Forgive my sexist phrasing. I hope it's an old wives' tale. Or urban myth. But that's what is out there. And I hope that's not true, because it wouldn't make any sense at all, because those trees make the neighborhood, those that are left. So the officer, had him stop at least for a little while until he could find out and sort out whether you do need a permit or not. And I still don't know as I stand here whether you do or you don't. And I'll take my seat and take an answer from there, or I can stay here if you'd like. But, excuse me. Then he went back into the office, the chiropractor, after speaking to us and saying, it was a mistake, it shouldn't have happened. And these guys are now going back, cutting back the tree again. And I was like, you gotta stop this. What's going on? And he just said he was with us. He said, I was with you guys when you fought against the hotel and the council in town bought that property up. I was with you, I'm an ally. This was a mistake, this is a misunderstanding. Well, then why are these guys still cutting when you went inside? You need to get out here and you need to stop this. Because I talked to the boss, Vasquez. Well, this is what they want to do. Okay, I'll leave in a moment. Ryan, you should know the story. I believe the township should know this story. It's very, very important, because God forbid somebody starts taking them down up Route 1. It makes the neighborhood, it makes the place, we want a boulevard feeling, it makes it residential. You get rid of them, it ain't. It's a commercial it's a commercial strip, and a naked one at that. And so ultimately, they did stop. And he backed, and it was all away from the building and I said to the officer, please, when you do get a call back from town hall, tell him it's away from the building. It's no longer over his building. And when I left, everything had stopped. And I came back later in the afternoon and the truck was gone and they stopped where they stopped eventually, you know. So there's still a goodly piece, half of it, half of the half that was left is still there. I think we need some clarity as to what's going on with this. He says there were two calls to two calls to town hall, and he was given a green light to go ahead and do this. I think we need some clarity about these trees. And I'll save for another day this sewer thing coming through. But the last time I was here, I said, we need assurances. Council Sypek said, well, we can write it in. I think it was Manager Nowinski said we can write it in. It wasn't Manager Nowinski. We can write it in. Because this is the very thing I'm talking about. They go ahead and take the tree down and then you say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was, all right.
Thank you. I think what we can do.
I overstayed my welcome.
No, it's fine.
It's a true point. This is exactly what I was talking about with that sewer line, and we better keep an eye on that too.
Mr. Hooker,
With respect.
Mr. Nowinski, would you mind just looking at it? I don't know what the ordinance is on that as far as trees.
I do have some information. I was provided some information
Okay,
with regard to this.
Yeah, I was just,
If you want to.
Would you like me to remain or take a seat?
Sure, no, wherever you want to go, it's fine with me.
I'll stay.
Okay, I received word from Brenda Kramer, who is the Assistant Municipal Engineer, who received a call from the police officer that was responding.
Officer Campbell, he was a great young man.
Did go to the site, confirmed that the tree is the property owner's tree, it's not in a right of way, and that the property owner does have a right, every property owner in Lawrence Township has the right to trim and prune trees, dead branches on trees. That's the right.
Yeah, there were no dead ones on this, but go ahead.
And well, that's it. It was told to me that they weren't taking the tree down.
Yes, they were taking the tree down, and we got there in time to where why would you start on the sidewalk if you're not gonna take it down? And take down a perfectly healthy bunch of branches and leave the stalk. Thankfully, we got there in time for the other half. You're saying that this is not on Route 1, this is not state property or town property
What
right
I'm
next to
telling
the
you-
sidewalk,
What I'm
so.
telling you is what was explained to me by the engineer who responded and confirmed that the tree is situated not in the right of way, not under the control of Lawrence Township, and that it's the property owner's tree.
Do we not have, what is our slogan? Something about Township of Trees or something like that? Do you know
Tree
what it
City.
is?
Tree
Anybody?
USA?
Tree
What is
USA.
it?
Where nature smiles for 22 miles.
miles and we're
Oh,
tree.
okay, I thought it had trees in it.
We
Where
did
nature
tree.
smiles for 22 miles. Well, nature's not smiling, nature's crying today. And has too often. Is there an ordinance? And if not, should we get one? This is another urban myth, that there's an ordinance out there that even if it's on your own property, if there's a tree of a certain size,
Yes.
you need a permit to cut it down.
Specimen tree, absolutely.
What does that mean, specimen tree? A
A
tree of a certain size?
Yes.
Is that what a specimen tree
Like a
is? A
sycamore.
big tree?
Mayor.
All right, well, this is a tree of a certain
Mr.
size.
Hooker, Councilman Bob would like to say something?
I just want to say a quick look on the engineering's website, the FAQ. Residential homeowners are permitted to remove 5 trees annually with size between 8 and 29 inches in diameter. Larger trees are considered specimen trees and may not be removed without a permit and replacement.
Perfect.
And just.
This is a lot more larger.
And if I can continue.
I don't mean to
If I
interrupt.
can
I'm sorry,
continue.
Councilman. I know you're an ally and we appreciate it.
That FAQ starts with, for all tree removals, the engineering department must be notified and inspect the trees prior to removal. So,
Thanks for Councilman Bobbitt.
I hope that clarifies.
Well, he's fantastic. Councilman Bobbitt put his finger right on it. There should have been a permit in place. So when I came up today in that parking lot screaming that you need a permit, I was right.
Okay.
And he didn't have one. And he was in the process of taking it down. And had it not been for Mayor Plitti, former Mayor Plitti, myself, and some other residents, he would have done it. And we can't allow that kind of thing.
Well, thank you for bringing it to our attention. We appreciate it. I'm getting a little
And we
feedback.
have a great police force, and we have great council members, and we appreciate your support.
Thank
To
you
keep
so
this
much.
town beautiful
Thank you so
and
much.
nature smiling. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Is there anyone else for public participation? 5 minutes, please. Come up, write your name and address down, and then state your name for the record. Thank you.
Good evening, Gregory J. Politti, 27 Booker Hill Avenue. Before I get what I came here tonight, a quick question to the Councilman Ryan who's running the meeting. So through that whole thing, was there an inspection of that tree before they began work since it was a specimen tree? Could you find that out for me?
I don't know. I don't
Could you
think.
ask somebody, maybe on
Sure,
one of your staff,
sure.
maybe ask the manager?
Kevin, can we just see if there was something from Brenda that was submitted?
An
Oh,
inspection.
I apologize for the buzzing. I can hear
I'm
it.
99.9% certain that there was no permit requested for the work,
Or inspection.
or inspection, correct.
The council to look into that, when it didn't happen, since it's a specimen tree? Because this isn't the first time we had a problem with those sycamores. It's when PSE&G were gonna take them all down because the zoning officer said, oh, just go ahead and take them down. I ended up calling Senator Shirley Turner. We called up here, got a little flack from the people in the administration, but, you know, these are trees. I agree with Mr. Hooker. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Anyway, the reason I'm here, the infamous 3131 Princeton Pike redevelopment plan is the perfect example of how to abuse the New Jersey redevelopment law. As we have all heard before, this is a developer handout that originated out of closed-door meetings with the manager that included what appears to be a false report by the township's professional planner, who also appears to have a major monetary conflict with reviewing the very report she wrote that was paid for by the developer. But that handout is about to get a lot sweeter for the developer tonight, with a resolution to begin a pilot, payment in lieu of taxes, which will pave the way for lucrative tax breaks for the developer. This project was touted by the municipal manager as a needed variable and a win-win for the township. However, at no time ever did he mention a sweetheart tax deal. According to the community impact statement filed by the developer, the estimated projection for school-aged children that will be housed at this development would be 50 students. According to the U.S. News and World Report, the cost of each student is $22,000. So that is well over $1 million a year the school board will have to make up the difference. The developer saves money and we defund our schools. I urge council to stop this developer handout and vote no on the developer's agreement. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else for public? Please come up and write your name down. I apologize. And then state your name for the record. Thank you.
Sylvia Cobus. Now that I heard Mr. Hooker talk about those sycamores, I don't know any specifics. I heard from a longtime resident that those sycamores were planted as in remembrance of World War I soldiers. So those trees, just because of that, should be protected, whether they are on private properties or in the right-of-way. I believe those trees need special protection just because of that. So I'm very disturbed by the fact that someone right there on Route 1, not fearing without any permits, just going ahead and cutting down the tree. And what's happened in my neighborhood, I've noticed what people now are doing to kind of go around the permit situation. They cut down all of the living branches, leaving the trunk with some empty branches in their yards. And technically, that tree is not being cut down, but it's no longer or barely living tree. So I think that should also be looked into as to the permits and how we as the township protect the trees, which we all know not only give us shade, but also protect us from floodwaters. And with all the rising waters now, with all the big storms that come in, with all those heavy downpours, we should depend more and more on those trees and protect them even better. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have a question. Kevin, is there any way that maybe we could put this in, council, what do you think, is put it on our webpage about before you cut?
It's on the webpage.
Yeah, but it was like frequently asked questions. I mean, post it like we have it. Before you cut, you need a permit
Absolutely.
and let's get it out there. Just put it out there.
We can get it on the social media cycle as well as the
Right.
website. Sure.
This way
I agree with that.
people know and as far as the branches sticking off, I know some tree people don't know how to cut and they're just doing it. That's why you're seeing it just cut. They're not cutting it right. They're just hacking and cutting off, and that's why you see that, and that tree is dying. Thank you. Please sign in and state your name for the record. Thank you.
Eric Blake. This is a tape measure. This is 10 inches. If you have a grass or weed in your yard, no matter how few, the township may threaten to fine you. I think that should change. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else for public participation? 5 minutes? Please, sir, come up and sign in and then state your name for the record. Thank you.
Like Bob Prudhomme from West Lawn Drive. I want to comment on his earlier comment. A friend of mine led a group in Cranberry, New Jersey that fought a development and did an economic analysis of what the impact of that development would be. And it's not only schools, it's infrastructure, it's police. And I think that's something that really is a global thing that needs to be analyzed.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else for public participation? 5 minutes? 30? You can come up, yeah, if you like. But I do have a gavel.
You could have an axe, I deserve it.
Just state your name again.
Jim Hooker again.
Ms. Cobus brought up this, you can put it in a nutshell, sustainability really is with the flooding and the freshening of the air. And that was on my notes in terms of we talk about sustainability, We talk about nature smiling. We put in these, what are these things out here with the parking lot?
The solar panels.
Solar panels. We put in that to put our best foot forward. We're gonna do solar, all of these things. We talk about sustainability. We have a sustainability committee. These things are part of sustainability, these sycamores. And the other thing I'd like to say is, what I mean about why the passion comes up so is they can't be replaced. As I said to Tom and Greg today, the King of England couldn't replace that thing if he wanted to. Can't do it. You gotta plant it and you gotta wait 100 years, 50, 60 years, whatever it is. I don't care who you are, you can't replace it. And that is a bottom line that me as a knucklehead didn't make a strong enough point about before. They cannot be replaced. I don't care who you are. That's why they have to be protected. And that's why we gotta keep a hawk eye out when they come through the park with that other thing. And generally speaking, we need to keep a hawk eye out to protect these things, because once it's gone, it's gone. And just like you great people did, this council and the administration, when you saved the park from development, once it was gone, it was gone. You could never get it back. But you guys took the right step, to your great credit, the administration, Manager Nowinski as well. Great credit, put everything together and saved the park. Because it can't be replaced. And that's the thing with these trees. And that's why we're so passionate about it, myself and my neighbors. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Hooker. Is there anyone else with public participation? Seeing none or hearing none, we're going to close public participation.
Mr. Ryan, I would like to say a few words, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, go ahead, thank you.
So I sit in the seat as the municipal manager. And in the face of absurd, ridiculous, and disgusting comments by Mr. Politi about my ethics, about my actions as municipal mayor, I hope and wait for someone else to defend my character, and it doesn't happen. With regard to 3131 Princeton Pike, there was no closed door meetings, there was no closed door agreements. There was probably in excess of 10 public hearings that took place. And I alone, cannot move this town forward with regard to designating an area in need of redevelopment, cannot move the town forward by contracting with a developer to do work, cannot bind the township to a contract in terms of pilot agreements or what's in the best interest of the town. That's for the planning board, who are appointed by the council. That's for the governing body to do by votes after public hearings and public comments. So when I sit here and have to listen to that type of comment, to that type of personal attack, it offends me, because it means two things. One is something's lacking in your argument, or you're beholden to something else that's going on. Because you could be against, and you can advocate against whatever issue it is. If you're firmly against the redevelopment in town, for whatever reason, advocate for it. Why call somebody a criminal? Why do that? Every day I come to work with the commitment to do the best job for this town. And I have to sit here and listen to that without anybody defending me. And I'll go about and I'll do my work and I'll continue to do the best for the town. But I just want to know, for you, Mr. Politi, it offends me. We've known each other a very long time. You know my character. And you know that nothing illegal, unlawful, unethical was done by me with regard to this process. It all came out in public hearings. It was voted on by the elected officials, and we moved forward as a town in open like we always have. So just that for the record. If nobody's going to defend me, I'll defend myself. And I'll sleep soundly at night. That's all.
Councilman?
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
During that application,
we had the meetings that the manager talked about. We listened to the residents that did show up. They met the criteria to get the approval. If we would have said no, it would have meant a lawsuit to this township. The board ran through everything. And the board voted with one person against it, and he had his reasons why. So out of all the board members that were down there that night, it went through with flying colors.
That was me, I voted against it.
Yeah,
You can say my name, I'm fine with that.
well, it's on the record,
Yeah.
but it didn't stop me from talking to John. I still talked to him. He had his reasons, I had my reasons, it met everything. Our planner met everything. And all the meetings was open to the public. Even though it wasn't a standing room only for the application, they met all requirements for that application.
Thank you, Councilman. Anything, anyone else?
No.
Is there anyone else? Oh, we're close with it already, I apologize. We're gonna move on to adoption of minutes. Can I motion for 8A, please?
Mayor, if I may, Councilman, if I may, I'd like to
Thank you.
revisit number 7, review and revision of the agenda.
Oh, I apologize. Yes, yeah, we got a few on that. Thank you.
Chair, try that, Chair. I would like to add 3 time-sensitive resolutions to the agenda, starting with 18G2, authorizing the acceptance of a $41,000 grant from Bristol Myers Squibb for their purchase of 2 Lucas CPR devices for the Department of Lawrence Township Emergency Services. I think I'll just go one by one, if that's all right, or should I do them in a block?
Mr. Sypak, can we do it
It's
in
gonna be
block?
all in G and
Yeah,
grants.
One's an
one in
H.
H. Should we
Do
do
two
two?
Gs?
You should do
Two
two.
in
Okay.
block?
And then I'll add 18G3, resolution to apply for a grant from the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety for the 2024 Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over statewide labor day crackdown from August 16th through September 2nd, 2024. May I have
Madam Clerk?
Uh,
Your roll call.
a second?
A second.
Second. Okay. Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes,
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Chair, I'd also like to amend the agenda to include 18H9, authorizing a fireworks display and food trucks at Rider University.
second,
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
yes,
Mr. Ryan?
Yes. Chris, do we have to do that? You want me to amend it back? With the F2, F3? That we sent to him?
No, those are all okay. That was just changing the wording.
The word.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are good.
Now, the adoption of minutes, please. Motion for that.
Chair, I'd like to move 8A, regular meeting, February 20th, 2024.
second,
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
yes,
Mr. Ryan?
Yes. Can I get a motion for 9A, please?
Chair, I'd like to move 9A, number 283, authorizing a contract for the rehabilitation of 738 Mayflower Avenue.
second,
This is part of our rehabilitation program.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
yes,
Mr. Ryan?
Yes. Can I get a motion 9B?
Chair, I'll move
Thank
9B, 284, authorizing a contract for the rehabilitation of 71 Greenfield Avenue.
I believe the same thing.
Correct.
Thank you.
Need a second?
second,
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
yes,
Mr. Ryan?
Yes. Can I get a motion for 9C, please?
I'll move 9C, number 285, authorizing the awarding of bid 24-08 crossing guard services to Harvard Protection Services.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Did you want to do an explanation?
It's for crossing guard services.
Very good. Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
And Chair, if I may, I'll move 9D, number 291, authorizing awarding a bid 24-10 brick paver patio and composite decking ramp improvements to the Lawrence Township Nature Center.
Second.
Mr. Nowinski?
Yeah, this is one piece of a series of things that we plan to do to improve the Andemerai Nature Center.
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes. Can I get a motion for 10A, please?
Chair, I'd like to move 10A, ordinance number 2476-24, an ordinance amending chapter 435, article 4 of the Township of Lawrence Administrative Code entitled Motor Vehicles and Traffic Engine Braking.
Mr. Nowinski?
This originated out of some citizen complaints directed to me with regard to tractor trailers hitting their brakes and braking, and to their disruption of the quality of their lives in terms of their house shaking, just noise and disruption. I met with Chief Longo to find out what we can do to enforce and regulate. Chief Longo did some research, and he came up with, after speaking to some of his peers, with this ordinance that we intend to utilize and rely upon to regulate and enforce the improper use of braking by tractor trailers. So it's a quality of life issue, and it gives our police department some legal authority to use it to enforce the abuse.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes. Can I get a motion for 11A, please?
Chair, I'd like to move 11A, ordinance number 2475-24, ordinance amending ordinance 2394-21 by the Township of Lawrence, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, in order to revise the description of the improvement herein.
Second.
Is there any public participation in this? Seeing no, we're going to close. Mr. Nowinski on this?
Yeah, just for the public, this is in order to comply with New Jersey budget law. We're just revising the description. We're not expending any more money. That money's already in place through our adopted budget. And we're just using it to improve some of the municipal parking areas.
I got a question on that.
Sure.
That ordinance, it's attached to the ordinance 2394-21.
Correct.
That was a bonding ordinance. We should table that. There's no way, because you need four a bond.
Well, you need a supermajority, I think.
Well, I think you need a supermajority of the electeds. I'm just researching it on the resolution issue. It would appear that you would need a majority of the members present for a quorum. However, for the passage, this is specifically resolution, you need a majority of all members, and members is defined as all elected officials of the municipality, all council people.
So if there was 3 votes of yes.
For three, yes, you would need 3 votes for a resolution. Now, this is an amendment of an ordinance, and bear with me, but it's my understanding, I mean, is this a revision of a bond ordinance?
This is an amendment modifying a description.
I believe this ordinance was for like Carney's Corner, West Long, Light, Colonial Lakeland.
Well, I guess the issue would be, it's not an amendment to the bond ordinance in terms of monetary changes.
Right. It's not indebting the township to any additional funds.
So if there's not a further indebtedness, under the bonding statute. And it's just I call it a clarification of the description of the use of the money. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Mr. Nowinski? You know, I would think, since no new monies are being asked for, no new monies are being expended, you can adopt a really what seems to be a de minimis amendment to the description of the use of the money in the ordinance by a majority of the seated, not just strike that, of the elected council people. If this were an amendment dealing with money, you would need 4 votes.
Can I propose something? Can we have a vote on this? And if it is 3, we don't take action on this until you've researched it.
Sure.
After the, tomorrow or the next day, we just, because if the vote is unenforceable, then we've done nothing other than take a vote.
What actually are we going to use the money for, or what you're looking at
Here we go again. Okay, so why don't we table?
Here we go, I'm asking a question. I mean, that's what the residents put me here for. I'm just answering a simple question. What is the money's going for? Because you know we're
I'll
having.
tell you, they're changing it, all they're doing is changing the purpose of it. So he's changing the purpose to the municipal complex parking lot improvements.
Okay, what improvements though?
So, well, that would be for our CFO or Kevin to explain to you if he has it tonight.
That's what I'm asking.
Right. And actually, even if you vote on it and we keep, it doesn't pass, we can always check with the bond council. We can check with them, we can call the bond council and make sure that it's okay. But we can also table it as well.
I'm comfortable with I'm comfortable with tabling it until we find out exactly what improvements are we looking at in here.
Chair, if I could ask a simple
Yeah.
question.
Absolutely.
This is the parking lot. Yeah. So.
When I discovered some questions about sort of coordination between the cover letters of our resolutions and the wording of our resolutions, I immediately emailed the manager and the clerk Monday morning to ask those questions. And by the end of Monday, all of council had resolved resolutions that were in conformance with what the description was in the agenda. Now, I am surprised that here we are Tuesday at nearly 7:00, that we are now asking the question of the manager what this bond is for, when you could have, I feel as if any one of us has the ability to ask the manager, the CFO, and others within municipal staff the questions beforehand, so that we can do the business of the township, which I also think the residents would like to see happen, in a timely manner. That's all.
Absolutely. I mean, is it hard? Is it that hard just to say, what are you looking for? Are we putting new solar panels on? Are we doing curbing?
Right.
If that's the parking lot and it's not on the south side.
Right. So I know what you're saying. You're wanting to know what part of the parking lot, because it just said municipal complex parking.
To be honest with you, I'm worried because of the hubbub that's been going on the south side. The rumor about the firehouse and stuff like that. So what are we doing with it? This is, I'm asking. You can smile, but.
I'm not smiling.
No, I'm not you. No, it's Councilman.
Smile.
No. They're.
So we've gone through this over the last several years. This is a budget compliance issue.
I
The
understand.
work's not been identified, and if the scope of the work we've not gone to contract with. This is the first part of a process to describe the intended purpose for the capital bond. That's all it is. And you do recall, I mean, I've spent a lot of time describing this particular budget law vehicle to you, like how it works. And I apologize if I look frustrated. It's just because you've had this since Thursday, and I'm so available to you to get you the information, so the public doesn't look like they don't know what they're doing. That concerns me, because this is a budget.
This is,
Yeah, and you have the right, we're not at that part yet. I'm not looking to have any work approved. I'm looking to revise the description within this bond ordinance. That's all this is. There's no work component to it yet. That is yet to come before you in terms of going to a contract that has all the details to it. So I agree that we should just.
why the rush then?
There's no rush, right? We
Then
don't
table
have to do it. We'll just table it. It's fine.
Not a big deal. I mean, this
Well,
is,
sometimes it's a big deal because we have things that we have to
Chair.
Yeah, it's
work through.
Chair, I'd also like to add, and forgive me for not adding this earlier in my previous comments, but this is an adoption of an ordinance, which means that this is the second reading of the ordinance, which means that this ordinance was introduced last month. So that we had the wording, this very same wording, municipal complex parking lot improvements, was provided to us in July.
I remember, and they're still the same thing.
And so the question I have is, again, I think it's our responsibility as council people for the Township of Lawrence, County of Mercer, to do the work and ask the questions that we're allowed to ask. And by allowed, I mean, we can call up the township manager, request a meeting with the CFO, and go over those things. And not do it.
In public?
No, no. What I'm saying is, if you want an answer to the question, which you can still ask in public,
Thank you.
if again,
You're just grandstanding, Councilman.
and
we understand you.
Chair,
You're like beating a dead
Chair.
horse here.
Chair, what I'm saying is, first of all, I take umbrage at that. I think we're supposed to be a team up here, and I don't think you are representing the Township of Lawrence that well right now,
All right,
in terms of picking.
That's your opinion. No, it's his opinion, honest.
But what I'm saying is,
Don't give
what I'm
me.
saying is, if you want the answers, I would say ask the question early, allow people to have time to get the answers for you, and then you can ask the question in public and get an answer in a timely fashion.
Okay,
That's
right.
all.
Thank you.
You have a motion to table, you need a vote.
Is there a motion today?
A motion table?
And is there a second?
Then we'll vote on it.
Well,
We'll vote on it then.
it's a motion.
The motion's on it, you want me to just vote?
I'm sorry?
I said, if the motion, he made a motion,
And there was no
Mr.
second.
Ryan made, but there's no second on it. So we just gonna call the roll here, or is it moved now?
I recommend that it gets tabled.
Yeah.
I recommend it gets tabled to the council, for it to be second and for it to be tabled.
Yeah. it's-
So I could work with Mr. Ryan to get him a further description of what this process is. It won't involve scope of work, it won't involve money, it's just the New Jersey budget law and its requirements and how to do and utilize the particular funding source that's already been approved in the 2024 budget. So we've been through this several times already, and it's fine, and I'll take
I will
the
try
time
to
to do it
move
again.
things along, Chair, and second your motion.
All right, I'll
Madam
call
Clerk, thank you.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes,
Madam Clerk, will you have to re-advertise the public hearing?
Yes, because this was an adoption,
Yes.
so it'll have to start over.
It's gonna be pushed another 2 months.
Okay, thank you.
thank you, Councilman Bobbitt. Manager's report.
We had a longtime employee, Don Arison, pass away suddenly over the weekend. He was employed as a house inspector since 2004. He leaves a wife and two daughters. He was a very good, reliable, and knowledgeable employee, knew his job well, and we could always count on him to do what was expected of him and beyond, and he will be missed. I'll provide with you details for his funeral services. The second thing that I have is that Hero Dog Park was opened up last Thursday. It is open to the public for the use. The next item I have is that we received a letter from Assemblyman Anthony Borelli's office indicating that there is $2 million appropriated for the study of, for the installation, the design and installation of a sound barrier for Long Acres neighborhood. Something that's been going on for 40 years. We got some clarification that this would be a state project. And I think the notification to us was that this is like an initial step for the state to have this funding set aside designated for that particular project. So that's really good news. We also, through the efforts of, as you know, I really focused a lot on trying to bring in grant money for the different things to keep the town moving forward in terms of capital improvements and funding for emergency services. And I'm really happy to report that one of our career firefighters, Justice Colucci, spearheaded an effort to obtain a grant from Bristol-Myers Squibb in the amount of $41,000, which is to be used to purchase 2 Lucas CPR devices. These are portable devices that are artificial decompressions during emergency events. So I'm really happy that part of our staff is taking the initiative to help improve our response in different emergency situations. So that's a resolution that's up for you guys to approve so we could execute the letter of agreement with Bristol-Myers Squibb. And finally, there is an event that's going to be held at the Lawrence High School. It's sponsored by Hyundai Motor Vehicle Company that was involved in, had some software safety concerns. It was a major piece of litigation internationally. And part of the settlement was to engage local communities and have these events where people could come and bring their vehicle and have the software installed. And it's an anti-theft device. So Hyundai reached out to our chief of police, Chris Longo, and they worked together to get this event in place. It's scheduled at the Lawrence High School on Friday, Saturday, August 23rd and 24th, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, August 25th, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you have a Hyundai and you need to get that work done, you go there. And apparently they're well-attended events. So that was good work by our chief and good partnering by our school district to help us have this event for the community. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Attorney's report, please.
Nothing really this evening. I asked the clerk to place a resolution for a possible closed session, but it does not appear that we have any matters that are necessary for a closed session.
That was my next question. Clerk's report, please.
I have nothing.
There's no unfinished business, there's no business, and we're up to public participation, 3 minutes. Is there anyone for public? Please come up. Just state your name, please.
Sylvia Cobus. I speak for myself, but I believe there are other people in the audience that will agree with that. When you, the council members, ask questions and there are things stated in the public setting like this, it's very useful for us, and we appreciate those questions. It doesn't make the council, the manager, look like you guys don't know what you're doing. It actually looks like you're engaging in transparent process, so we, the public, whether on YouTube or here in person, later streaming the meetings, we actually learn how this process works. And we appreciate those questions. And what I don't appreciate is when those questions are being shut down. And Councilman Ryan, previously former Mayor Ryan, whenever he asked those questions, whether online, through emails, or that's been my observance, I've heard you've received those answers. Why are you asking the question again in public? Then when it's asked in public, without the emails or without the questions before that, you had a chance to ask those questions. I don't appreciate that. I believe that every member of this council asks those questions in lieu of us and the public. And we can't always ask those questions. And we appreciate when those questions are being asked. And I understand that Mr. Nowinski, I'm sure, is flooded with questions from the public and from the council and all of that. I'm sure he answers them promptly. It's just when it's asked and then shut down in the public setting, I don't think it's the person who's asking the question, but rather the person who's shutting down the question looks bad. So I would appreciate if any member and our new mayor and our new councilwoman, they ask those questions and they're very rarely shut down. And we appreciate that. We appreciate the questions, and we don't appreciate the arguments that happen because someone asked a question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Chair, if I could say something.
Yes, please, thanks.
I guess I'm the bad guy tonight. Just let me speak, please. I apologize if it came off as if I was trying to shut down any questioning. I think that what I would like to see is us working together to ask those questions in public and have informed answers at that moment. And I understand that's not always the case, especially when emerging topics come up about trees and things like that. I'm all for transparency, and I understand that some in this room don't believe that, and I'll just leave it there. And sorry for grandstanding, Chair.
Water off the duck's back.
Mr. Ryan, may I have a comment? Mrs. Kovas, I agree with you completely, and I feel bad that you feel the need to come up and try to fight for information. And that's not really what we're supposed to be doing. You should have the information.
Yeah.
Right? This particular ordinance was introduced a month ago. And it is just to revise a description. There's nothing else to it. It's just those 5 words. That's all it is. And it is a vehicle to comply with the New Jersey budget law. And then it's on again, and for more than 30 days, there was no question asked, and that's okay too, right? I mean, but very frequently, I'll have council members call up and ask me the question, and then they say we should have this asked and answered on the record so that people understand it. That happens all the time, and that's for transparency reasons. So this is something that Mr. Ryan and I have had to navigate through for 3 years now. It's a certain area of New Jersey budget law. And there is a seeking of information that does not exist at this time. It's just the first step of a process that will cause more information that will result in potentially awarding of a bid or something like that, that the council will vote on. So we're now gonna be delayed a couple more months, and now we're gonna lose the ability to probably do whatever work through the winter. It's just, some things are timely and some things should get done, and if it plays out for the first time and we have to table things, then we're not getting the work done. So I appreciate your comments, I take them to heart, and I will work hard to try and share the information, but this is just one component of complying with the budget law. And those words are the words, and that's it, so.
I also want to make a comment on that too.
Sure.
When we introduce an ordinance, it gets advertised in the paper and it costs money and it's not cheap. When you come to adopt an ordinance, you have to, when you already introduced it, you already looked it over, you already approved it. So now you're saying, boop, I don't want to adopt this, I want to table this. So now the process starts all over again. You have to reintroduce, you have to put it back for adoption, and it costs more money. So basically, what I guess they're saying is that if there is a question on the ordinance when it's introduced, to ask the question or get the answers before. So, and you can still talk about it on the record, but just make sure that you already have your answer so that you will have it for adoption. And you can explain it to the public as well, but then you don't have to table that ordinance and has to start over again and delay the process.
No,
And
I,
that goes not for you, that's
no,
just.
I understand it. I took that. It's a wonderful class, and I recommend it to anybody, that Rutgers government class. Take that. It's wonderful to show you how to ask questions and everything.
So I'm just saying that as a point of us advertising and spending taxpayers' money. So,
See, my only thing is, Mr. Nowinski, we're not gonna go like back and forth. It was just, it delays what we're planning on doing. Well, you have to know if you just said that. What are we planning on doing? You said, well, it's gonna be a couple months, it's gonna delay what we're doing in the winter. Well, what are we doing in the winter?
I will provide you with an explanation of the function of this budget law, and I will read it aloud at the next meeting. Okay?
Yes,
Just like
I'm
everybody
fine,
knows.
I'm fine, that's all I'm
And
asking.
it has
Thank you so
nothing
much.
to do about what we're doing, but I will do that. I've already sent one to you that was pages and pages long. I will read that one aloud the next time, and so everybody's on the same
I read
page.
everything, I'm good. No, we're paying, public participation, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, this thing just goes all the time.
I think it's a little high in here. I don't know why.
So the ordinance was voted on once.
Just state your name, please.
Carefully again. The ordinance was voted on once, but for adoption tonight. It's changing, it's making a de minimis change, as detailed by the manager, to the description in which, if we're spending money here, there, we have to identify that. The question everyone wants to know in the audience is, obviously there is a need to make that change. So there must be some sense, even in a broad sense, maybe not exactly, but in a broad sense, what work will be funded after making this change. And I think it's because there's a lot of concern in the audience regarding certain things being built in and around this area. I think it would belay a lot of that concern if people just understood, whether broad or finite, what work. And there must be a sense, because we're apparently tabling this, delaying that work. So again, I would just say, what work?
Thank you, sir.
Improvement to the parking lot area in this complex here. That's what it is at this point.
I think we'd like a definition of that improvement, but if not, understand.
Is there anyone else for public participation, please?
Has your comment? Sorry, just gonna be brief.
No.
Sylvia Covers again. I would just like to make a comment about the resolution 18F6. So Mr. Komaki had mentioned there were multiple public meetings about 3131 Princeton Pike. at the planning board. I agree. I have attended most, if not all of them. And because I have a certain dislike of payment instead of residential tax payments, had that been mentioned during those hearings at the planning board, I probably would have reacted. So this is something that I would like the council to reconsider, especially as Mr. Politi had mentioned, the costs per child, just the school. There is also fire department, there is police department, there is clearing of the roads, all kinds of things that come with a development now coming in and not paying proper property taxes, but a flat payment just like Lawrence School does. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else with public participation, 3 minutes? Seeing, yes, sir. Oh, right on the buzzer there. Right on the buzzer. I had my finger on that.
Right.
I'll leave him. Just state your name again, please, for the record.
Jim Hooker. I really honestly wanted to come up and thank you for the longitude and latitude, as they used to say at the State House. Council, longitude and latitude for me to present the full remarks of what happened today. Unprepared, so maybe it was a little rambling. I also didn't greet Madam Clerk over here, I don't think. I greeted the council, and the council, spelled with an S, but not Madam Clerk, who's to my right. So Clerk Carter, thank you, and I don't want to ignore it in any way. And I want to just acknowledge fellow residents and citizens who care enough to be here and to talk about these things that impact our town and are so important to all of us. And you didn't hear from Mr. Cleese. He got in here a little late. Jim Cleese, Lawrenceville. Let's put his name on the record there, because he's always weighing in with good ideas. So that's the whole of it, and thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Sir, if you just write your name and address and then state your name for the record, please. Thank you.
Ray Collins, 18 West Long Drive. The entire discussion around the paving and municipal building was very enlightening, and I think so. I got something out of it, even though it might not have went as everybody planned. I just have one point. I mean, West Long Drive needs to be repaved a hell of a lot sooner than this parking lot. Now, I've called, and they've been extremely helpful to tell me, number one, it's budgeted. Number two, they have to wait for the water lines to be completed, and then we're on the list and it should get done. But it's long overdue, and I would be really disappointed if we're paving here before we're paving there. So I respectfully ask you to consider that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Public participation? Seeing none or hearing none, we're going to close public participation. Can I get a motion for 18A, please?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, point of order. Question has come up as to the number of votes needed to pass the resolutions. I was able to find in the New Jersey statute, specifically NJSA 40:81-20, as adopted in 2023, that a majority of all the members of the municipal councils shall constitute a quorum. Well, we clearly have a quorum. And the affirmative vote of a majority of council members shall be necessary to take any action or pass any measure. So it would be my opinion, subject to any further review, that you need 3 votes to pass a resolution tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sypek. Can I get a motion for 18A, please?
Chair, if I may, can I move them in a block? Would that be all right? With the
Yeah.
exception of with the exception of F6, which I believe the chair would like to have read separately. Is that all right?
Yes, Councilman, thank you.
All right, so I would like to make a motion to move resolutions A1 through F5 and G1 through H7 and H9 in a block.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes. Can I get a motion for F6, please?
Chair, I'll move F6, 307, authorizing a professional services agreement for the redevelopment of 3131 Princeton Pike.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Chair, if I could ask, have a little bit of debate on this, if I may?
Go ahead.
Thanks, Chair. Mr. Nowinski, I have a question for you about this agreement for services for a pilot for 3131. Was there I've heard differing things about whether there was a conversation during the planning board, thank you, planning board meeting about whether a pilot was brought up. Do you?
So the planning board, before the planning board was the question of whether or not it was an area in need of redevelopment. There was no application by a developer. That's not even been submitted yet, as far as I'm aware. So for the application for development has not been submitted to the planning board at this time. It's the first part of the process. So no, that a pilot would not have entered into a conversation at that point in time.
And if I could follow up, when did the pilot question come up or conversation, or how does that work when it's not sort of stated during the planning board hearing? Is it?
It's a part of the redevelopment process.
Gotcha.
And if the council is not in favor of it, then the vote is not in favor of it.
Understood.
Yeah.
And one last thing, this resolution is merely professional services. It's just to start the process. It's not necessarily to adopt a pilot at this moment.
This is not entering
I'm also asking this for the benefit of everyone.
Yeah, this is not entering into agreement to have a pilot. This is getting a company of professional experts, consultants, to work on behalf of the town to study and make a determination on a pilot and what its impact would be for the community.
And Chair, if I could follow up with one last question. This $15,000 maximum expenditure that's within this resolution, is this something that could wait another month?
Listen, you can wait. This is not a township infrastructure. This could wait, yeah.
So
So if you're asking one of the questions is who's funding it? Is that?
No, not that one.
Okay.
That's not my question. My question is whether this is something that needs to be passed tonight
No.
with two
No, I mean, it
members
was
missing.
unexpected that there was going to be 2 members missing, so.
And so I'm just wondering if we do table it this evening so that we could have a full board at our next hearing. So I guess I'll make the motion to, Mr. Sypek, can I amend? Do I amend or do I
You can
just?
make a motion to table at any time.
Yeah, I'd like to make a
Under Robert's
motion
rules.
to table this resolution to a date certain of our next meeting so that we could have the full council involved.
Second.
I think we should vote on it.
Well, it's up to, you can make a motion to table a resolution anytime during a
Correct.
meeting. That's 101. Now you have a motion on the floor, which is non-debatable. You have to take a vote on the
Yeah.
motion.
Okay. So the motion, okay, Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes, I'd like to table it.
okay. Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
No.
Motion passes.
Is there any council initiatives and liaison reports?
Chair, I would like to ask one question as the liaison to the ELSA board. Has there been any progress on the sewer ban? The township hasn't been able to do any.
Hold on.
All right. All
There,
right.
it's,
All right.
it's coming. We had a meeting today. Councilman, am I correct? It all depends. There's notes. I'm telling you, it all depends on the email from today, on the condition of, drawing, an appeal settlement, and it's, administrative count order. So we have to wait on that. That's coming tomorrow. So if we agree to that, then they're agreeing to lift it. But we have to see what the lawyers are looking at it tomorrow. They're getting in tomorrow afternoon. So I believe we're having Monday, either a Zoom or a call, on what's on the sheet that's coming down from this. And if we all agree that it should be lifted.
We're supposed to get the copies Friday
Correct, to go over it.
to go over it for the weekend, and Monday we're supposed to
So-
get the calls.
That's
Very good news.
That's wonderful news.
Oh, gosh, yes. Is there any?
Yeah. I would like to announce that the 112th Field Artillery is having a fundraiser for deployed troops this Sunday at Captain Paul's. If these are available, it's from 12 to 4. On June 15th, 12 of us went up to Flemington, New Jersey, called Operation New Jersey Care. We packed 51 boxes. We already gave 2,500 to start this for troops. 28 boxes went strictly for females. The rest went as general snacks and meals. We're due to go back up Monday, I think it's the 26th. We're due to go back up then. And again, give the 2,500, if not more, and start packing. What this company does, years ago when they done Desert Storm, it cost more money for 112 to mail these packages, and it was less troops. We have 306 troops over there now. And it costs us more money to send it than it costs us to buy the stuff. We're not looking to get goods. This place does all that. We're just looking for, if possible, if you can support, come by and, give them support. We'll be up there on that Monday. And to date, because we had our meeting today, so far, we brought in $1,800 in a short time. It's only been out maybe 2 weeks that we put this information out. So it's to support our troops if you hear.
Is it Sunday or Monday?
Huh?
Sunday or Monday?
Sunday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councilman, and really, if you know anybody, please go out, and I want to thank Captain Pauls for opening the place, and he does a wonderful job for everybody on that fire, police, military. So, stop by, say hi, share it. Anything else? You good? On the written communications, the council agrees that we should wait for the application for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, since the mayor is the liaison to it, and she's not here right now, so we could
Yeah,
just hold off.
that makes perfect sense.
Madam Clerk, would you mind sending an email, just saying the next council meeting, which is the 17th, I believe.
Yeah, September 17th.
Bring it up on the 17th.
Yes, I will.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem. You're welcome.
All right, now, no executive session, so
None needed.
we're good. So can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
Always in order.
Second.
I want to thank the residents for coming out, for your public participation, and be safe going home. Nice seeing everyone.